We've assembled the Super Meat Boy Forever community to submit a race for GDQ. I'm Chani24. I'm second place in two of the 90% categories, and I'm introducing my co-commentator Sandshark.
Thank you so much, Chani. Hey everyone, I'm Sandshark. I am a bit lower in the leaderboards, 14th place in Super Meat Boy Forever, but we've assembled all the top runners here to do a fantastic showcase of the tech and movement in this game, which I will introduce clockwise. Starting up in the top left here, this person is the world record holder in both main random seed categories and has been dominant in Super Meat Boy Forever basically since the game has been launched, getting insane times, breaking awesome barriers. He hails from Quebec, Canada. Give it up for Insane.
Hi, I'm Insane.
Hello, Insane. Moving on, we have Arfinde, who is tied with Walrus for third place in random seed any percent, hailing from Poland.
Hello, I'm Arfinde.
In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the current world record holder for both the main set seed categories. He plays on Nintendo Switch, and he's a bit of a dark horse in this race. Slowest random any percent PB, but he's got the best movement in set seed. Should make for some good racing. He hails from New York, US. This is Chance Operation.
Hello.
Hello, Chance. And finally, bottom right-hand corner, we have the player who at one point held all four of the main world records at the same time for random seed, set seed, and all light levels. He pushed forward the movement tech of the game. His records have lots of depth, but way better movement than anyone else at the time. We call it Walrus movement, named after himself. From Seattle, US, AmericanWalrus.
Hello.
Hello, Walrus. So, a bit of a preamble about the game. So, Super Meat Boy Forever came out at the end of 2020, 10 years after the release of the original beloved Super Meat Boy. So, quite a bit is different in this game. The first thing you'll notice is that Meat Boy automatically runs, but there are a ton of new mechanics introduced to the game that make it just as fun as the original to kind of navigate all these obstacles. I've been playing it a lot. I absolutely love it, and in a race setting, it is so much fun. So Insane, Arfinde, Chance, and Walrus are all going to be racing to see who can get the best random seed any percent time. They have not seen this seed yet, so they will be going in completely blind. They may be familiar with the chunks, but not the structure. So we'll have to sit back and see how it goes. Tony?
Yeah, so I'll count us down. To reiterate, they have not seen this seed. Sandshark and I are both familiar with it, but I'll count us down. So, on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Is everything getting in? We got a bit of a delay. We're piecing together all the streams. And so we're going to enter Chipper Grove. I figure we'll just, there's not a whole lot to discuss here, but I want to give just a little preamble, to compliment Sandsharks about the speedrunning of this game. He touched on kind of the random generation and the auto runner aspect of this game. And I think that introduced actually a pretty interesting speedrunning constraint with those two things, because it forces you to take every skip and every chunk at full speed on reaction, which is kind of a unique speedrunning mechanic.
So we have Insane coming off the blocks in the first level here. Pretty solid start. So yeah, I definitely agree. You have to do a lot of things on the fly. We actually have someone's figured out how to get. So each level pulls from, I think, around 100 to 200 chunks, and it'll have 5 to 7 or 8 of them, essentially. So you have to memorize as many chunks as possible, and you may get unlucky, especially when you're trying to go for a PB and random seed. Some chunks are very long and unfriendly. Quick death there from Chance.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of the time sim you have is just by utilizing skips that you can find, actually, majority of the chunks, and also optimizing your movement. On that note, just a note, if you look at how they're moving, Meat Boy is constantly dashing and diving down. So in this game, you can punch enemies, as you see Insane doing right now. Enemies are obstacles, you can just punch to get out of your way. And if you do that, you get a bit of a boost to speed. So by constantly punching and then diving to a ground, you can hover above the ground, punch to get optimal speed, then dive down so you don't spend too much time floating in the air. So that will make up the majority of the movement in the game. And it makes for... Meat Boy looks like he's... might get a bit of a headache after doing it all this time, but we'll see how we go. Everyone's now on 1-3. That introduces these collapsing walls that look pretty familiar from the first game. There's quite a few borrowed mechanics from the first game as well, so things will be looking pretty familiar. So here we are, Insane still in a good lead, first out of 1-3. Now we're up to 1-4, and this world's called Chipper Grove, by the way. So now dashing through 1-4, trying to get ahead of these big rotating stalls. These big stalls go faster than you, so you need to be very careful. Make sure you get up enough speed.
Yeah, and one thing you'll notice is that, especially with Chance, because he's the master of set seed at the moment, is that a lot of them will intentionally not punch a bug because it'll introduce like some freeze frame lag, and so you'll see Chance because of the set seed experience intentionally avoiding bugs when possible, just to stop that like quarter of a second time loss, basically.
Oh, this is really cool. All the runners are kind of synced up right now, so you can see how tight this can get. As Tony said, further in the game, with those freeze frames, you want to avoid doing things that will cause the freeze frames, because even though the timer in the top left, the par time, will stop, your speedrun timer, which is what would base the in-game time off, will keep going. So, we'll try to avoid what we can. Anyway, we're up to the first boss now. This is Big Slugger, the big brother of Little Slugger.
Yep.
There's a set movement that happens here that you can basically punch all the modules of this boss very, very quickly. Oh, insane! Couldn't jump off the side.
That's a death that happens all the time. That one's brutal.
Yeah, that one over there, you gotta time it just right and punch it just as it crashes down. So Insane, unfortunately, falling behind a little bit. But Arfinde is the first now into the clinic.
All right, important note here, watching Arfinde, this is a skip. It's this long jump that is very painful because it's very easy to fall off the bottom there. You'll see Walrus, Chance is doing it now as well. See, he just barely jumps before he falls off the bottom of the screen. And that is a very frequent place of deaths when you get that chunk.
It is. So the main mechanic here, first one you'll see here in the clinic, is which is called, is if you stay in spikes, you won't die instantly, but a red ring will form around Meat Boy, and if it gets completely red, you'll die like that. American, unfortunately, didn't get out of the spikes quick enough, so you got to be very, very quick and not spend too much time in the spikes. So it's a skip there that Insane just did to kind of dive down past all the spikes, past the saw. He's now jumping back and backtracking to just keep himself out of the spikes. So Arfinde is now in the lead over here. So introduces these little purple things in 2-3 called beatuses. And beatuses, they basically suck you in and you need to punch out of them. So you need to punch 3 times to get out of them. They'll naturally gravitate towards an obstacle, so you need to be very quick. The little skip here, instead of just jumping on that yellow module which turns you around, he just jumps on the lip of an edge before the saw. So that's how it's all going right now. All on the same level, all making good progress so far.
Right. Walrus is coming up on a skip. We'll see if he introduces it. It's when he'll be forced to like roll up on this beatus, and he'll actually delay mashing so that he flies up to the next beatus rather than like exiting as fast as possible. But it's coming in a bit. And then also Arfinde's and Chance are both entering 3-4, 2-4, which introduces this glass breaking mechanic, which is one of everyone's favorite levels because there's so many skips that are usually available in the chunks.
Yeah, there are a lot of skips, but you gotta be very careful as well, because time can be deceiving because of the lag time from actually punching the glass. Not by much, but just something to take into consideration. So right now, Arfinde is just trying to gain some hype from the fans. Usually I'd try to avoid punching that insect there, but it's okay. So he actually avoids punching that insect to avoid some lag frames. Now he's gonna punch a glass from above here, it looks like. No, it doesn't go that route. Maybe another runner will, but sometimes you can actually punch glass from underneath to break it, and that'll allow you to skip sections of levels. Chance, do it. Ooh.
Oh, Insane got it.
Oh, Chance.
See if Chance. Chance got it the second attempt. Nice.
But Arfinde now is in 2-5, and this introduces a mechanic called ghost clipping.
Yep.
And this is a really cool mechanic where if you punch with one button, keep holding it, and then punch a ghost with another button, you can clip right through the ghost, and that saves. Usually when they punch a ghost, there's a bit of lag. So when you clip through ghosts using that technique, you save quite a bit of time.
Yeah, more of that like freeze frame optimization, avoiding that lag when you hit stuff.
There are some times where it is, Arfinde just at the end doesn't get the punch ready in time.
That's a tough chunk with the ghost clipping.
Usually I actually don't do the ghost clip there. I just like to play it safe.
Oh, good skip from Arfinde going into the fans and Insane. Yeah,
it's usually deceiving. The skip's actually built into the chunk, but most runners don't, casually don't make note of it. Another ghost clip here. Oh, she jumps straight over the ghost. That's good. AmericanWalrus is behind a little bit. Okay, Arfinde is the first out of the clinic, shortly followed by Insane. We're now heading up to the next boss, the Manipulator, who is a brain who controls shards of glass. Essentially, each cycle, 3 shards of glass will pop up, and you gotta jump through them depending where the holes are. Now they're gonna punch them 8 to 9 times, and then get a boost off the last punch to get some extra speed, and that actually skips one of the glass shard sheets, so that saves quite a bit of time.
Yeah, this is one of the least favorite bosses for all the speedrunners because it's very easy to get an awkward glass wave cycle, which can result in a very, very costly death. But it looks like everyone's getting through here pretty smoothly.
Yep. Arfinde and Insane the first through. Chance Operation is shortly behind. But now we're heading into the next world called Tetanusville, or as I like to call it, Resetnusville.
Oh yeah, Resetville for sure.
There are so many chunks in this world that are absolutely unfriendly, especially when doing random seed. Take way too much time and can kill your run. And some of the chunks as well as being long, are just very, very unfriendly. So first thing you'll see here is I don't know what these enemies are called, but you can punch them and they can break wood blocks.
I call them roly-polies.
I call them armadillos. I don't know if there's like a universal name there, but another thing there, he basically punches it through the wood blocks there to get through. Usually, if you don't get through the wood blocks, you can do a long way, but you really want to try and optimize your movement.
One note I want to make here is that with Chance falling down slightly behind, is that he is actually close to the lead here, because the way that this game works for speedrun timing is we actually use the in-game time on the top right. You'll see on all their screens. So Chance is our lone switch player, and so he has to deal with longer cutscenes, and so his RTA time is going to be slower, but his in-game time may actually be faster at the end of this, so we'll have to wait and see. But Chance is always going to be at a disadvantage for real time because of the switch cutscenes.
Okay.
But one of the nice things is that this in-game timer very much like gets rid of the disadvantage for the different consoles. So all the consoles can compete fairly on the leaderboard, which is great for us.
Absolutely great. It allows it really to be universal speedrunning instead of, I guess, different loading times that affect gameplay and whatnot. So we're heading up now. Arfinde deceptively in the lead here. So you'll see a bunch of combination mechanics here. Conveyor belts, again, borrowed from the first game. Key blocks, also from the first game, but you actually got to take the key to the block this time. So all this basically combines, and when you get further into the run, it's just all the mechanics can stack. So essentially, you won't just see one mechanic and not see it again. Further in the world and further in other levels, mechanics will stack, and you just got to remember how to use so many things. Arfinde and Insane are now on 3-5.
Oh, good skip from Insane. Doing that hook backwards saves a lot of time.
It does save a lot of time. So instead of having to go up the top to change direction, he did a very well-timed jump there.
So there's an important skip. Sorry to cut you off. There's an important skip coming up. Let's see if any of them attempt it. Neither of them do. I think that Chance will. That chunk that Insane and Arfinde on. There's a skip known as the Ham Bounce, and that's named after the famous original Super Meat Boy player Hambanu, or Ham as you know him, and he's the current, or not the current, but used to have the world record in a few categories there, and he pushed the set seed category of this game. He's not active anymore currently, but we'll see Chance approach it. Here we go. Let's see if he goes for it. Oh, missed it the first time. So what he's going for is trying to bounce off of that conveyor belt instantly. So he has to time his drop down and his jump just right so that he launches. And it looks like a bounce. And he's struggling with it. It is a very difficult skip. And it is in the current set seed in the category. Oh, there it is. Nice.
There it is. Oh, that's a really, really good skip there.
Very, very difficult. And the culprit for a lot of resets in the set seed category.
Anyway, heading up now, we're in 3-6, which introduces these timed lasers. So most of these lasers, though, they are cycle based, and if you're quick, you can actually. This is very easy to save a lot of time here. Oh, good skip there from Arfinde, who just jumps off the side of one of the collapsing blocks to save quite a bit of time. I think almost 9 seconds compared to power time.
Yep, good skip here too by Arfinde.
Oh, that's great.
Insane's about to do it too, where instead of taking that hook, you just bounce back and forth to skip the whole top layer.
So Arfinde deceptively is the first out into the boss, which is called the Lab Guardian, who guards the lab. There's a very specific movement here that we do to destroy the Lab Guardian quickly. So essentially, you gotta hit those enemies coming out of the tubes certain times, Oh, that's a very good skip as well. He just gets it very quickly, but
Yep.
it happens very quickly, so it's hard to explain. But essentially, one of the destroy those two little modules you'll see with the enemies at the top, but we hit them in specific angles, so we can destroy the Lab Guardian really, really quickly. So hit him 10 times a first, and then you got to keep hitting him as many times a second. Usually it's a 3-cycle boss, but we can do it in 2, which is really, really cool. Now, now we're up to the lab, which is one of the trickiest worlds in Meat Boy Forever.
Especially for 1. This level doesn't have a whole lot of like speed running mechanics necessarily, but these orbs are there's a lot of chunks that look very similarly, but require slightly different movement to set up these orbs correctly. And so you can it's very easy to die and lose a lot of time in this level.
Oh, it is. Especially, the orbs follow you in such a weird arc. So if you don't get your movement just right,
Good skip from Insane.
yeah, it was a good skip there from Insane. It could really stuff you over. But heading now to, we do 4-3 next. So over here we have these blocks where if you go past them, then they generate. So little skip there to avoid one of them. Arfinde, oh, a bit deceptive there. Oh, wow, that was a good little skip there. Usually I get that hook there, but he jumps off one of the generated ones to get a bit of extra speed, which is good.
Yeah, that's a skip I actually introduced fairly recently. Or not that I implemented fairly recently. It's been known for quite a while, where you take that hook like early and then you don't go back and forth.
Yeah, let's have to use that for my future speedruns. But also, see this TNT blocks as well. So if you touch them, they have numbers on them. If they go down to 0, they have like 2 seconds before they blow up. So you just gotta be careful there. Arfinde now backtracking, getting a key, going through the regen blocks, and then a collapsing wall to destroy this enemy here. Very good.
Ooh, Arfinde.
Yeah, instead of actually activating that block there, he's able to just jump straight onto the lip, which is.
I do not go for that. That is very, very difficult. Insane doesn't even go for it, and he's the current world record holder in the category, so that's very impressive by Arfinde.
Heading now into generating it. So this level over here, you notice these purple and yellow crystals. These basically give you power ups. So the purple crystal, if you punch while using it, you will do an extremely high jump. The yellow crystal, if you punch while using it, you will basically go the opposite direction. So as you can see it here, is Arfinde is using it to climb the wall. So there's a few skips you can do with them, but overall you just need to be careful that you don't accidentally punch or press the jump button again, because you can't double jump when using it. You'll just have the special jump. So some people do get confused by that, and can take out quite a bit of time. Again, here it's more about moving. Ooh, oh, he tried to go for the skip there, but didn't make it just in time. Very tight one, that one. So try to dive down and skip one of the crystals, I think, but didn't work out that.
Yeah, that chunk is just kind of awkward.
Anyway, Arfinde finishes that one up, and now we're heading up to 4-6.
So
yep.
Yeah, so 4-6 on this particular. So this seed, I will note, is the seed that I first broke 20 minutes on. My PB is about a minute faster than that first, but like sub 20 is the a notable barrier for a lot of people. And so if you look in the top left corner, you can see a 37 on Arfinde's stream. That is the A+ time, and so that gives us a way to kind of estimate how long the level will be, which informs kind of on the fly routing decisions. And 37 for this level is absolutely insane. Like, it is about 20 seconds faster than the usual for this level. And this is a big reason why the lab for this particular seed was my gold for probably 100 runs after this.
That's a very good chunk indeed. So over here now we have Burly Brawl. So you're not just facing one Dr. Fetus, you're facing multiple. You notice here, so we do a mega jump at just the right time to get Dr. Fetus at a place we know he'll be. But you'll notice that Arfinde is actually pausing. What this does is that adds a few buffer frames, so we can potentially try and 2-cycle him. So instead of bashing him down in 3 cycles, we can do it in 2. And Arfinde gets it.
Yep, great.
15 seconds if you're good at it, which is really, really good.
Yeah, getting those pauses are very tricky, and Arfinde goes for it, Chance goes for it. I don't know if Walrus and Insane go for it, but Chance is very good at it, but that was a very, very, very good execution of that strategy by Arfinde. Arfinde's now, and go ahead, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I wasn't too sure if the pausing loses more time than it would save by just doing it normally, but anyway, yeah, it looks like it's good to go for. Anyway, so Arfinde now is at... Oh, getting me confused there. This is called the other side, the last world in any percent. And this first mechanic you will see is these suns that suck you in, and when you press A in the direction that the line points, they punch you out. And if you punch while you're in, I guess, that blast mode, you come out with like a orb punch, which basically destroys whatever's in front of you.
Yep.
That'll be. Go ahead.
There are many skips in this level. This 5-1, you'll see one from Arfinde right there, where he kind of skipped going back and forth in that level. You're going to see another one here where he goes underneath here. So like, there's this level has so many skips, and it's with and because of that, when you ask all the runners like what their favorite level is, almost all of them will say 5-1 because the movement and the skips are just so fun.
They definitely are.
I'm
heading
now to. Go ahead. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Yeah, that's fine. Heading into 5-2 now, we have this mechanic where these blocks here, they will move as soon as they see you're in front of them, but they move super fast, so you need these blue crystals to slow down time. You'll note that it slows down the power time in the top left, but does not slow down the real game time, in the right. So, again, deceivingly doing it any percent run.
Important chunk coming up for Arfinde, where you can actually do what's called a roof hop here. Let's see if he goes for it. It doesn't look like he's going to go for it. I know that Insane will, because this is something that he practices quite a bit. But
a bit unfortunate death there from Insane before. But yeah, let's see if Insane goes for it. Again, using the teleport to get through.
Arfinde is going on to the final level, but I do want to talk about Insane's roof hop if he gets there.
He's got one more.
Oh yeah, one more. Yeah, you're right. 5-3 rather than 5-4. So here's Insane going for a roof hop. So some chunks allow you to actually get to the top here, which if you get lucky, which you do here, you can run across the ceiling of the next chunk. And that worked out very well for Insane on this level.
That was incredible. Good job, Insane. Anyway, heading now into 5-3. So introduces these blocks where if you punch them, they will infinitely spawn in the direction you punch them and despawn shortly thereafter. Now, we have a chunk on this level called the... Ooh, unfortunate death there. Called the God Chunk. So I don't know if that's actually in the... Is it in this seed? The God
it is not in this seed. Yeah, the 5-3 skip. It's not in this one.
Yeah, the 5-3 skip where you can basically use one of those suns to blast up to the top right and just skip half the level, which is really fun. Arfinde again making good time, and it basically, as you can see, it combines all the previous mechanics of previous chunks. So we have the teleport thingies, we have the
Arfinde going for it. This is a tough skip, but it's a good one if you can get it though.
Yeah, it's a lot to remember with all the chunks combining. Misses that just in time. So instead of backtracking and using that block there, he's trying to
nice.
And he does. That's a very, very good skip there and saves, at least 10, 15 seconds. It's great.
Yeah, it's a big skip. Arfinde going on to the last level. This is quite the brain teaser when you don't know all the chunks. Because so when you press down, the purple blocks will toggle. When you press punch or jump, the green blocks will toggle. And the chunks can get very tricky. And because this is the last level, usually of the run, if you're on PB pace, you're usually, your palms are sweating, you're getting pretty nervous, and if you hit a chunk that you don't have a great setup for, it can be very stressful and tricky to figure out on the fly. Oh, good skip from Arfinde. So that is that's amazing. He got that in a race. What you saw there is he can clip into either the green or purple blocks, basically by punching into them right on the border between the two of them, and that lets you turn around early on that chunk.
So I didn't even know that was possible. Anyway, now we're up to the final boss called Omega Alpha, and we have a couple skips here called box skip, where normally you're supposed to trap a hand using the box, where if you punch into silhouettes, it will form a box around it. But we can punch and use the blocks to stop the other hand from punching us to, how should I say it, skip a majority of the boss. So it saves at least 15 to 20 seconds. So Arfinde, the second box skip's a lot harder than the first one, and Arfinde gets both, which is a fantastic start.
Yep, you skip a lot of damage that you're expected to get, so you have to mash really fast in that phase right there where Arfinde did. And so there's techniques to mash where you can press down and A at the same time to make that easier. Arfinde's about to hit time here, which is amazing time.
Last wave here. A lot of punches. Got a lot of punches. Yep, that's good. And
1851 for Arfinde is a great time.
851 for Arfinde. It's a great time. I should probably indicate that. I think Chance has died a couple times. So Chance was ahead for a bit because of the cutscene load times. But able to fall through just in time. But that was a great time there from Arfinde. I'm gonna quickly write that down.
Yeah, 1851 for Arfinde. For some context, this is a good seed, so it won't count for like a random seed PB because we chose the seed that was good. World record is 1822. by Insane. So 1851 in a game with like some randomness is an incredible time.
We just got a finish as well from Insane, which is 1950, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
So good job, Insane. Very almost a minute difference actually. That was Arfinde really blitzed it up.
Yeah, Arfinde played extremely well. He hit a lot. Like he had the purple box clip in 5-4. That was very impressive.
He definitely did. Chance is now heading up for. Chance is not going to go for the second box skip, so it's safer, but it loses a bit of time compared to doing both box skips. If we have a quick look at Insane's time in the bottom, it's a bit of a disparaging. Sorry, not discrepancy from the time in the file to the in-game time actually, but yeah, 1943. Insane.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, he came in around 1950 on the speedrun timer, and then it looks like Chance is going to finish in just a second with 20:02.
20:02,
which is also a great time. The hard part about this game is that there's so many chunks to remember. It's like playing a game of like speedrunning flashcards. Oh, tough death by Walrus. Where you're just constantly running forward and moving fast, and you're being basically like drilled on over and over again. Like, do you remember how to do this chunk? Do you know the skips? Like, if there's a skip early in the chunk, did you recognize the chunk fast enough to execute the skip? And so it's this kind of just this like nonstop gauntlet of like memorizing all the chunks and reacting to them. And so having Arfinde do break 19 in a race setting is extremely impressive.
That was a good, definitely a good run from Arfinde. I was really blown away. So AmericanWalrus here is now diving down. I believe it saves a little bit of time when doing the boss, but last little blast here. No, second last one, sorry. So you got to jump a specific way to basically avoid these seismic waves, because some runners for the first time playing it can kind of get, I guess, mind played by it a little bit.
Yeah, it's easy to get hit by those. 21:57 for AmericanWalrus, which is also a great time.
Yep, 21:57. Okay, that completes the run. So we had a lot of very good moments here. And despite the disparaging the in-game time, all runners played extremely well. Just to announce the final times, in fourth place, we have Walrus with a time of 21 minutes, 57 seconds. Third place, we have Chance Operation with a time of 20 minutes and 2 seconds. Third place, we have Insane with a time of 19 minutes and 43 seconds. And coming in first place with an incredible time, breaking the sub-19 barrier in a race, is Arfinde with 18 minutes and 51 seconds.
Just great play. And I think that this game has a unique place with the racing where there is this random element to it, but you can enter in the seed to get a lot of replayability and variety in races, which you don't get in a lot of games, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. But that will do it for the audition for today. Thank you so much, GDQ staff, for your consideration. We hope you enjoyed the run, and we will see you all next time. Do you have any closing words, Tony?
Nope. I think that does it. Thank you all.